winged rats, bum chickens, sky rats, pests. You may have heard these malicious titles given to one of our Earth's most fascinating creatures, the pigeon. Complex and intelligent, also highly social. Pigeons are one of the only species in the world that can pass the mirror test of self-recognition, making it smarter in some aspects than a human baby. Pigeons can fly at altitudes of 6,000 feet and over 90 miles per hour. They can detect lower frequencies than humans and hear oncoming storms and volcanoes. Pigeons are one of the best navigators in the world and can follow man-made roads, and even have been recorded flying over 1,100 miles and then returning home. With all of these amazing characteristics, pigeons were invaluable to Darwin, the father of evolution studies. But you may never have cared to know those facts. Today, let's answer the only thing that we all want to know. How do they taste?
Time's moving fast, we're not in a rush. Minutes go past, it's never enough. On the floor, I think lust has struck. Flying high all night, don't wake 'em up.
So yeah, pigeons are throughout all the world's cuisine. I mean, they were seen in So yeah, pigeons are throughout the entire world's cuisine. We've seen them in Roman cuisine, they've been in French cuisine disguised as frogs. They're in British cuisine that they used during rationing periods during the war. And yeah, every country's kind of seen pigeon, but it's kind of discriminated because a lot of people think it's a dirty bird because they have all these stereotypical words of like they're rats in the sky and they carry disease, and you know they were part of the reason for the plague and all these kind of misconceptions and stuff. But actually, studies show that pigeon is one of the cleanest poultries out there, and in some cases even cleaner, and carry less pathogens than even chicken. But we're here today to actually cover what is pigeon in China. We thought it was really, really interesting to come to a restaurant that's dedicated to only pigeon. And you see this a lot in China. There's restaurants that are only dedicated to beef, only dedicated to dog meat, only dedicated to goose, only dedicated to snake. These restaurants kind of encompass one animal and do it in a lot of different ways. And this one just kind of opened up in the city that I live in, and they actually only serve pigeons or sky rats. So we decided to come check it out. Now the funny thing is the first distinction we have to make about pigeons in China is that doves are also included in the kind of description of a pigeon. So when you go to the wet markets to go buy pigeon to prepare, you actually end up finding out that right next to the pigeons are also doves. There's no distinction made, right? The funny thing is doves are also still in China representative of peace and harmony, and they use them at weddings. And there's been stories of hundreds of doves being released at a wedding. Beautiful, beautiful display. And then all of these middle-aged to older-aged women rushing to kind of swoop in and grab them all up. And where do you think they end up? Well, in a soup pot, just like this one actually. Guangdong, where we live, it's usually prepared in soup. Pigeon soup is a really, really common dish. And that's usually kind of the daily preparation that you'd see someone cooking in their home is pigeon soup. But there's also different kinds and ones that I much, much prefer.
I'm a Cantonese girl. Usually this kind of pigeon, we eat it in a lot of the occasion, especially like Chinese New Year and then like some big gathering and this and that. And we truly believe in like eating pigeon is really good for your health. And after check about it, yes, actually have a lot of vitamin in it.
都有是吧？哪个是比较好吃？
这两只比较好。
好，这是一只来的。
一只的。
一只这个，一只这个。
小只比这普通的好。
谢谢。Now there's a bunch of different preparations, and actually Chinatowns in America are like one of the biggest per capita consumers of pigeon. And these are not pigeons that you just scoop up off the street, although in China, in mainland China, it's definitely the case. They definitely get, scoop up pigeons off the street to serve them sometimes. But there's two different preparations. And one of them is called the Confucian preparation, which is also called the New York style. And that's basically a roast pigeon, but they leave all the guts inside and they cook them together. I've never seen that here in mainland China, but my wife told me it definitely does exist. I would have thought that the American version would have the guts removed, because here in mainland China, they actually scoop out the guts. Both versions, however, retain the head. Some of them cut off the feet, and in this case, we don't see any of the feet left on, but there's plenty of heads, which I'm told are perfectly edible. So the first one that we're actually going to go for is the Hong Shao, or it's roast. And this is your just average kind of Cantonese style looking pigeon. It doesn't look like it has a whole lot of meat on it. And I can see the leg, and the first thing I notice is that the meat is super, super dark, and it looks like it's going to be succulent. So let's try it out. Don't ever let anyone tell you that this is a dirty animal, because that's some of the cleanest meat I've ever tasted in my life. It's succulent. It's like melt in your mouth. It kind of reminds me of the dark meat on a turkey. So if you can get the kind of image of this beautiful cooing dove out of your head, you know, representative of peace and marriage, it's absolutely delicious. You can see how small these legs are. It's really funny. It's almost cute, but the leg meat's tiny. The best part about it actually is the skin, which reminds me of Cantonese style roast duck. It's really, really crispy. And there's just a tiny film of fat that kind of explodes or washes your mouth in a little bit of oil, but it's got a smoky roast taste to it. Honestly, one of the best pieces of meat I've ever had. It's great. The next style we have is yenju, which is salt, and they rub it in salt before they roast it. So this one's gonna be a little bit different. And I can tell it's already kind of like more rubbery in texture. So let's see how this one tastes. I'm gonna go for the breast this time. Very different. Now this one has an incredibly gamey taste to it. Not gamey in like a wild turkey type of taste, but it's definitely, you can tell it's like not been raised on a farm for consumption. And in a way, it's actually pretty good in that respect. I kind of like it like that. But the skin isn't crispy anymore. It's definitely like sloppier. It's kind of greasier. It's like, it doesn't kind of crisp or bite in your mouth. It doesn't pop in your mouth like the other one. So I'd say this isn't as good. But yeah, the meat, you can really get a sense of how dark and rich this meat is. It must be like one of the fattiest birds out there.
Okay, so let me try about the soy sauce one. You can tell the meat quality is absolutely good, because like this restaurant actually claim for all the pigeon they have, it's not eating this like the street garbage. It's not those like pigeon you can find eating garbage everywhere in the street. So they actually eating the whole grain, like my baby. So, and according to the menu, they were saying like this is a young pigeon soup. So basically it's like, this is baby, this is just younger. Probably it's their brother.
That's sad.
We killed their whole family. Don't suit me, those like animal rights people.
These animals don't got rights anymore, baby, don't worry.
Anyways, let me try about the soup. They didn't put any like extra ingredient in it, just pigeon. It's really sweet, but I'm sure my husband will say that's oily, salty water, but I don't care. Have that like really fresh and sweet taste in it. Just when you thought like, that's it, that's all we can got. Nope, here we come. We got Oregon pigeon rice. Pigeon organ rice?
Yeah.
Organ pigeon rice?
Pigeon organ rice.
Pigeon.
What kind of organs?
Pigeon organ rice. It's their liver, their kidney, and their heart.
So basically all the stuff that filters out the garbage that you don't
Oh,
want to eat.
look at the baby heart. Cut in half.
It's empty.
Anyway.
That was a bad pigeon then, an immoral one.
Anyway, we love it.
Okay, try it out.
It's for free too. I love Oregon, honestly.
I know why you guys came here. I know why you guys came here. You guys came here so that you could see me eat one of these heads. You might have seen me do it before, but it's going to be a little different this time because I'm going to examine it very closely. So I'll get a couple shots for you guys. Here we go, you ready? There's a few choices here, and I'm going to go for this one. It's kind of morbid how this is working out because its tongue is sticking out, and I don't like it very much. But its eyes are looking at me. I can eat the whole thing though, apparently. Apparently I'm supposed to eat the whole thing, so here we go. I'll start with the beak. Okay, it's getting way less appetizing as I watch his face slowly disappear. So I better just go for it. Oh, I don't know if I can do this. It's got a feather sticking out of it. There's a feather. There's a feather sticking out of its head. Oh, the brain just exploded with creaminess in my mouth. And it tastes like organs. Oh, it's the most metallic thing I've ever eaten in my life. Let's just go for it. Oh, that was not pleasant, actually. I've usually not minded that, but maybe it's because they're so natural and they eat whole grain. That was good. Thought it was kind of interesting to take you guys to a pigeon-only restaurant. Maybe we'll go to a frog-only restaurant next time. But all in all, definitely not worth the negative stereotype that pigeons have, because it's absolutely like one of the best pieces of meat I've ever had. You got to try it out. But if you have a chance, try out the roast version. I think it's the best. It's very crispy, very succulent, absolutely delicious. Thank you so much, Live Winners, and I will catch you, on the next one.